Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to buy investment property with little money. So if you're a real estate investor who doesn't have a lot of cash to invest in properties, this is the video for you because we're going to take a look at how to get going with your first or your next real estate investment, your next real property, without having to have a lot of cash out of pocket. So if that's your situation, you're in the right place. So hey, one of the things you can do if you want to get into real estate investing and you don't have a lot of money is to take a look at house hacking to get started with. Perhaps the current property you live in could be turned into a revenue generator and investment property for you. How can you do that? Well, house hacking means starting to rent out a part or parts of your home to tenants. This can look at several different things. If you've got a spare bedroom, you could rent that out on Airbnb. That's the original way Airbnb kind of got started. Or you could bring on a longer term tenant, a roommate, so to speak, to charge rent for and lower your costs and generate some profits there. If you've got a basement that can be turned into a suite, you can generate cash from that, probably a lot more than just renting out a room, by turning that into a secondary suite. So look at where you're at right now and look at house hacking that into a property. Now, on the other hand, if you don't have your own home, you could get into your first one, your first revenue property, if you buy it as your principal residence and then you also turn it into a rental. So for example, if you're able to qualify for a down payment or qualify for financing to purchase a duplex, perhaps you could live in one half and rent out the other half and have that as a mortgage helper. Same idea with a up-down suite. If you've got a property that's got a suite in it, or even just renting out rooms in your regular house. I know several people that got started that way by buying the house and then bringing on roommates and then house hacking that way. So there's all sorts of different options for you. Heck, my own experience, if I think back on it, my family kind of house hacked way back in the day before that was even a term. My father and my grandfather built a sixplex from scratch. We lived in one unit. My grandparents lived in another unit. It was free and clear, and the rents from the 4 rental units covered all of the costs and created a nice little retirement income for my grandparents while they're alive. When they passed away, my father inherited that property, and that was a good cash flowing asset for him for many, many, many years. So that's kind of a version of house hacking right there. Another way to get into real estate investing with a little cash is to get into creative deals. That's what I did back in the day when I first got started in real estate investing. I didn't have much cash, didn't have any credit, had to figure out how to get into properties creatively. So there's all sorts of different strategies there. You can do leases with options to purchase. You can do options. You can get assignments. You can do owner financing. You can do all sorts of different things creatively to get into a property that doesn't require a lot of capital. I've done a whole series of videos on this. I'll try to remember to include one of those videos above, and you can click on that and check that out. Another thing you can do is you can look for distressed properties that you can get into at very, very low cost. There's all sorts of motivated sellers that have properties that are run down, the grass hasn't been cut, they're vacant, all these kind of things. You can get into those, again, using some of those creative strategies, or get it at a smoking deal where you can get a lender to loan you literally 100% of the value of the property if you're able to buy it cheap enough. I know several people, typically flippers with a lot of experience, who've got a relationship with a hard money lender, and if they find a property that they can buy for literally 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, then that private lender, because there's so much equity already in the house, will finance them 100%, and that means you don't need any money for the deal. Now, that said, those deals are kind of few and far between, so you have to kind of really look hard for those, but that is an option. But over the years that I've been investing in real estate, I've figured out that the best way to buy property with little money is to focus on little of your money in the deal, but be able to come up with cash for down payment, for closing costs, for renovations, etc., by using other people's money, bringing on capital partners, so to speak. So I wish I had have known this early on instead of just focusing on all of those creative low money, no money down type deals, because those kind of creative deals tend to involve weird properties that have challenges with them. On the other hand, if you've got access to other people and their money, you can pretty much go out and buy any kind of property that makes sense financially. So dial it in with bringing on joint venture partners, private capital, hard money lenders, private lenders, this kind of private capital, and you can go a long way to growing your portfolio. And the good thing is, it doesn't really matter how much money you have, as long as you've got a really good deal, and ideally as long as you've got experience and know-how and a track record, it's quite straightforward to bring on money partners and raise capital to do your next deal. So that is the ultimate shortcut. All right, speaking of that shortcut, if you're interested in learning how to do this, I've got a book for you. Money Partner Formula shows you exactly who to focus on as your ideal private money lenders, your ideal joint venture partners, who they are, where they are, how to get their attention, how to get them coming to you instead of you chasing after them, how to present your opportunities in a non-salesy way that gets people excited and gets them enrolled in your deals. So if you want a copy of the book, The Price is Right, it's free. You can get your free copy at investorattractionbook.com or just click on the link in the description below.